Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy is brought to you in part by Manmade, quality essentials for men. Boxer briefs, t-shirts, socks, and soap. Manmade, the official boxer brief of Nick and Roy.
Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy. What is the most common mineral on Earth?
Why was Leonardo DiCaprio's haircut in Titanic banned in some countries?
This is Season 7 of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Plus, we'll answer your mailbag questions. And in the news, don't touch my fries.
Totally useless information. It's everything you never needed to know.
We really thank you for joining us. We have a very special guest we'll talk about in just a moment. We have lots of great stuff. Plus, we give you a chance to win underwear, or a chance for you to win man-made boxer briefs here on Totally Useless Information.
The best briefs in the world, and Nick and I can contest to it. We've been wearing them. They sent them to us. They are amazing. Man-made brand, men's underwear. You got to go to Man-Made Brands and what's the website, Nick?
Go to nickandroy.com. You click. We have a link. We made it easy for you. Go to nickandroy.com. Click on the link, and you'll be able to see what the fuss is all about.
Nick and Roy standing under a street lamp. Fog's as thick as peanut butter. They're talking totally useless, I tell you, useless information about the movies.
Well, we're really excited once again here on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. We thank you very much for joining us week after week. We're amazed by how many people come back for more Totally Useless Information, Roy.
And I know, and we have the guests. I mean, we have some great guests on the show, and today is no exception. We have Eric Raddatz. He is the founder of or co-founder, we'll get into that, of the Fort Myers Film Festival down in Fort Myers, Florida, which is in Southwest Florida. It's an amazing film festival. It's fantastic. And he's come on the show, and this thing has become a major event down here. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Roy. I mean, I want to make sure I'm the founder of the Fort Myers Film Festival and the co-founder of the Naples Film Festival. So we can get into that later, but not that it matters because they both are doing so well. But Fort Myers, obviously, we are super excited this year as to the films that are coming in. Our 13th year in Southwest Florida.
That's the first time I actually met you, was back in 2008.
I remember it well.
In the studios above the Nissan dealership, where you guys were trying to set up the Naples Film Festival.
And at that time, I remember there was someone who told me, if you ever get into trouble in town, be sure to just bring up the name Roy Locascio.
Yeah, and, I got some pull.
I think I'm pretty sure you do.
Yeah, you do. And the doctor told you to stop doing that, but it's okay.
I know. I'm going to go blind.
So what you guys are telling me, based on what I just heard the last few moments, is that Florida is one of the hubs of making movies. Is that correct?
I don't know if I'd put it. I know that it's a place where people like to make movies. The truth is the incentives that the state of Florida offers right now, they do not compete with other markets like Georgia, who's giving, I believe, a 30 to 35% credit if it's being produced in Georgia. So to be honest with you, the films that are being made in Florida are fewer than the ones that are being made in places even like our next door neighbor Georgia, because of the lack of incentives. Now, as a film festival, we're seeing films and promoting and encouraging films in Florida, and we are seeing them, but they're not getting the tax incentives. So big pictures like Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, where are they going to film? Well, Georgia says, if it's a $100 million project, we're going to give you $35 million. So it's a no-brainer for some of the bigger studios to go to places that aren't Florida, actually. But there is a market, and there's a good independent film market. There's certainly a good independent film festival market in Florida. I hope that answers your question.
I was gonna say that Florida is more, I think, independent than big budget films. And Nick, that you've got that Hollywood in Canada.
Hollywood North.
Yeah.
And and it's really remarkable, as wonderful as a city, because I'm in Toronto, Canada, and as wonderful as the city is and scenic and all the wonderful places that you can shoot all kinds of movies. A lot of filmmakers come up here and pretend that Toronto's a different city. Like Chicago is usually the go-to. It looks like Chicago, or even New York for that matter. So sometimes I'm walking in downtown Toronto, just outside the radio station where I work, and I'll see yellow taxi cabs, New York City taxi cabs. I'm like, did I make a wrong left somewhere on Yonge Street? Because
You know what's
I
funny,
wound up in
Eric?
New York.
You go when they're filming in Toronto and they want to make it look like New York or Chicago. All they do is put a couple more homeless and some garbage in the street, and it looks just like New York.
Exactly. We're imitating the United States.
And the technology is there now, and you can find places where you can shoot for less or get more of a kickback, a credit. But the film festival industry that we're talking a little about is different in that is an international film festival. We do see films from all over the world.
We have Eric Raddatz on the line with us. He is the director. He's the guy in charge of the Fort Myers
He's
Film
the founder.
Festival.
Yeah, the
He's
founder
the
of the Fort
co-founder.
Myers.
Have you always been involved in the arts? When did you get the art bug?
Oh, thank you for asking. What a nice question. That's not going to be totally useless information, but
Sure it is.
having said that, it might be totally useless. But I think as a young child, I watched my dad, who was a photographer in the Army. My mom was a dancer. They both had an interest in the arts, and I took an interest probably first in photography. I was a young paper boy in Chicago, passing the Chicago Tribune around the neighborhood, which I wish kids could do today, because it gave me a sense of work ethic. And then, I'd also be reading the newspaper, and I thought to myself, this is great. And I took an interest in how people could write the story, could photograph for the story, the comic strips. We have illustrators and graphics illustrators who are illustrating many of the stories. So, I probably, I took violin. I took some drum lessons, and so all across the board at some point, I remember enjoying music. I remember enjoying good movies. I remember enjoying the satisfaction of photography, darkroom photography. And at some point that led to more visual journalism, getting involved with not just photography, but storytelling, web design presentation, filmmaking, and so on and so forth. So again, was that totally useless? Maybe, but it is.
My question was it because your mom was a dancer that you became a Chippendale dancer?
Oh, I didn't know we were going there.
Yeah. No, is that true? Wait a minute. Hold on. I don't think Roy is kidding here. Were you a Chippendale dancer?
There is no information online that would
he was in a
prove that I was
Chippendale
ever...
cartoon. He was in a Chippendale cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Chip. I'm Dale. We're just a couple of crazy rascals out to have some fun.
See, there you go. We can just sit back and have Eric sing all the cartoons.
I am not a male dancer, but I have played one on a date from time to time, and I could be persuaded. I think Roy could persuade me.
Let's go back to your photography days when you said you were in a dark room. Roy knows a lot about dark rooms. He just high school.
It's when the light goes on that you realize who you're with,
But
with the lights off, we all look the same, Roy.
That's right. You mean you keep your eyes open? So, Eric, how does all of that background? I ask you for a reason. So you're part of the arts, basically your whole childhood, and you deliver the paper. I was a paper boy once.
Oh.
You're right. It's a great experience. I used to deliver the New York Post because I grew up in New York. Roy, did you ever have a newspaper route at all, of all the other things you've done? But
I didn't learn to read until I was around 35. So
I was going to say, do you read it all now, Roy?
Yeah,
although
exactly.
What was it? Beetle Bailey and Dick Tracy.
Yeah,
Hagar the Horrible.
Yeah, he thought Dick Tracy meant something totally different, which is probably, and we'll reveal this now on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy, that was his Chippendale name, Dick Tracy. This film festival, we're really excited. So as it turns out, I will be down in Florida when this film festival happens, and I was going to ask you this question, like, are there any A-list celebrities? But then again, Roy and I will be there, so the answer is no.
I was going to say we got Roy Locascio. That's going to be there.
So do you have any? Does your film festival attract any A-listers? at
It's
this point?
starting to. It's starting
Okay,
to. I hate
great.
to promise them. We're still in the selection. We haven't actually revealed this year's. It's in May. So, but there are rumblings, and we have had celebrities, come through in the past. And to be honest with you, I like that there's interest in the celebrities. And having said that, because that does bring people out, but also a lot of times people who are just looking for celebrity aren't necessarily looking for the films that I would rather see a good independent film. And I will go on record as saying that there's stronger films that will be playing in this year's Fort Myers Film Festival than that you will want to see again. And so there will be celebrities.
Let's face it, the Academy Awards is literally about looking at the stars, what they're wearing, all this. They have actually lost sight of the fact that this is about film. It's not about pomp and circumstance,
Well, and it's part of this. It's part of the appeal, I think, and they're living in a different world. Like if you live in Los Angeles, if you're part of this community, if you're part of the Oscars community, it's a little Emperor's New Clothes. So I think you're right. What I want to give them credit for, Roy and Nick, is they do elevate the standard of the discussion and recognize those who are involved with the movies and arts and acting.
So here's what I think we should do. Eric is probably going to MC a portion of this film festival. Right. So as he's speaking, I'm going to get up, walk on the stage, and smack him in the face,
right?
Like what's his name did. And we'll get some publicity. We'll get some publicity from it. We'll have some fake security guys grab me and pull me back. And what do you think, Eric?
What do you mean? I'm going to have I'll have some real security guys. I just have to press charges.
Yeah, and being Canadian, I'd apologize for him doing that. Of course.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's totally useless information with Nick and Roy. I'm Nick. He's Roy. And we have Eric Raddatz on the line with us. He's the guy in charge of the Fort Myers Film Festival.
The founder of the Fort Myers Film Festival. Now, here's the thing that I love about the Fort Myers Film Festival that a lot of film festivals used to do, but most don't do anymore. Their selection process is very secretive. But what Eric does is on Mondays, he shows films to people. So the people that actually come to this arena theater type setting, they watch these films and they can vote on them and give their feedback on them. And what that does is not only does it help in the process of picking the films that are in the festival, but it also gives the people a good sense of real independent films. And I'm talking about some of these films are made for, I think my film, which was, I think your first film festival, was your first year. My film was made for $7,400. And it was a full-length film. And I have to say, I think Eric said, marvelous, wonderful, amazing, a stroke of genius. I think that's what he said about my film.
Yeah, let's not put words in his mouth.
Yeah, I know. I said something about. I know I said something about Roy being a stroke, but I don't know if I had said genius or.
Yeah, he suffered a stroke when he saw the film. Is that what it was? I think it's exactly what it was.
No, what I'm disappointed though is that I'm not seeing any more films from you, buddy.
How come I have two scripts. I have a horror that is really bad. That if I give it to you, you're going to have me looked at. And then I have a film that requires an enormous budget because it happens across the entire country called Crime Spree, and it is a funny comedy and it's real good. And that's a funny one. You'll love it.
I want to read it. Send it my way. I've been reading more scripts. Yeah. I've been reading more scripts in 2023 than I've ever before. Some really good stuff is up there.
So on that, when you read a script, let me ask you this. So take us to the process of how it works. So you read a script. Do you read it cover to cover, or do you read the first few lines and go, oh, yeah, this is going to make it, or you jump to the middle of it? What is your process to reading a script and saying, yeah, this is something I want to put my name and money
when
behind?
They put $100 bill in his hand.
In each hand. What is the process?
Well, for me, I've been involved in various aspects of films, and including executive producer and producer, and actor and writer and script supervisor, etc. So I'm not always looking at it to invest. Sometimes I'm looking at it as in a collaborative process We'll kick back, feedback as to what, I'm seeing. I'm generally going to be very honest though with the script. I don't solicit them. So if someone's handing me a script, it's probably because one, they're a friend, and it's also two, they respect my opinion. So three, I'll likely read the whole script. I love reading scripts and then offering some sort of feedback. But if you're going to ask me about the process of what it takes for that script to go from someone who like me who's reading it to someone investing, $190 million, I don't know if I have that for this show to explain. I'm not going to pretend that I do. But I will say that every project starts with the script, so you have to have them. And if you are working with the right crew, if you're a lot of times I'm seeing pockets of folks who would have a lot of respect and are looking to see what their next project should be. And a lot of people are performing script writing and being paid for it for the absolute purpose of a finished product in mind. But for me, the ones I've been reading this year have been a variation of all of those, and it's fun. I mean, I love to read, and I love to see. You can kind of see a person, and you kind of see a film. I actually used to go through a phase where I would study scripts of my favorite movies. I don't know if you've ever done this, but there's websites where you can find your movie and then see what it looked like. And I think I first did it with When Harry Met Sally back in the day, and I was like, what did Nora Ephron? What did she? How did her script look like? And it's fun to see how some of the classics play out, and just how important it is to have the right actor and actress, and just how important it is to have the right director and the right cinematographer. It all comes down to having a good full team, someone who's the captain of the ship, who's sailing in the right, taking in the right direction. But it all starts with someone with a creative idea, who's like Roy here in his script, and it gets to the right people. And next thing you know, it's a classic.
Well, classic. See, and now I have to add the word classic. But you left out editing.
Classic.
You left out editing.
Yeah.
And to me, editing was one of the things. And when I made the film, editing was one of the things that I had no clue about. I didn't understand the whole principle behind adding the sound and the Foley, which is the noise when your feet are walking or a door closes. That's all added in after.
Yeah.
It really is amazing. That was one of the things that I had for the show. Did you everybody's seen the movie Rocky 3, right? Where he fights Apollo Creed and he fights Clubber Lang. Nick, you've seen it? You're a Canadian. Sure. I don't know if you've seen big movies.
Yeah, we have movies up. Yeah, yes.
You have movie theaters. Okay.
They repaired the 8mm camera. Go on.
so in Rocky 3, at the end of the movie, Apollo Creed gives Rocky, because Rocky wears yellow and black shorts, or gold and black, whatever you call it. And in the end of the movie, Apollo Creed gives Rocky his colors, which are red, white, and blue shorts. He says, "These are the shorts I wore when I fought you." Oh, yeah. And of course, Rocky says, "Hey, Apollo, I can't wear your colors," right? So, and he goes, "Yeah, no, you got to wear them." But if you watch the film closely, you'll notice that when he's fighting Clubber Lang in the beginning of the film, he's actually wearing those shorts. And it goes from yellow shorts to red, white, and blue shorts, and yellow shorts to red, white, and blue shorts, because the editor made a mistake and he put in the wrong scene and nobody caught it. And it happens about 3 times, which is really, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Editing is really important,
You've got a real eye for those kind of details, Roy. I'm impressed. And there are people who are who oversee supervision of those details on every good film. And if you miss one, it becomes an interesting factoid and
or useless information. Useless information, which is why we have it on our show.
Wait, I got another one for you, a biggie, a real biggie. And this one killed it for me because I'm a car lunatic. And one of my favorite cars is the old 956 Porsche, the one like James Dean died in, the little speedster.
Yeah, that one.
In the movie 48 Hours, Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy star in 48 Hours. And in that movie, I forget if it was drugs or money were placed inside the Porsche, inside the front of the Porsche, which the engine, of course, is in the rear. And the Porsche was in a parking garage and it was full of dust like it had been sitting there for years. They find it towards the end of the film. But again, because I hate myself for noticing all this crap, in the beginning of the film, I see this dirty, filthy Porsche Speedster going down the road. And I'm like, oh, wow, look at that, a Porsche Speedster. Guess what? It was an editing mistake. The car that really sews the whole film together at the end is actually shown in the beginning of the film as a B-roll of just cars in the street.
Really?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I know.
So this wasn't a mistake, but we all have seen Titanic how many times, right? And that scene with Jack and Rose, where they're in that room, and he says, "Take off your clothes. I want to sketch you." And then he does a sketch in the charcoal. We remember that scene.
Yeah, Nick tried that in high school with girls, but go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, exactly. And they told me to put away the charcoal. But anyway, what happened was, I don't think anybody realizes, like, was that really Leonardo DiCaprio that drew that sketch? It wasn't. You think, well, that's no surprise. But you know who did draw the sketch of Rose? It was the director himself, James Cameron. He drew the charcoal naked Kate Winslet.
Really?
Yep.
Did you know that, Eric?
No.
And that's about as useless as can be. I mean,
well, that's why, Eric, on the show we say, listen, laugh, and learn.
I would say, all I would say to that, Roy, is paint me like one of your French ladies.
And by the way, that haircut that Jack had, it was banned in some countries because they didn't want, the haircut that reminded people of Western cultures, apparently. So some countries didn't, like, they banned that scene wherever you saw that haircut that Leonardo DiCaprio wore. Something
about that haircut that you might not know is James Cameron gave him that haircut. Did you know that? I just made that up.
See, that's great. See, I like that. You know what else, too? What pisses me off about that movie? Rose is on this door. She's a pretty skinny little girl. Why the hell couldn't she say, Jack, just come on the door with me?
Oh, now that's been recently, James Cameron did actually I don't know the whole story, but it's been such a controversy, Roy, that he actually did a test to see if it was possible that the two could actually be on that or not. And I forgot what he concluded, though.
I've done things on top of a door with women that I don't even want to speak about.
Yeah. And they all had that. And you know what? After that experience, they had a sinking feeling as well. And scene. Eric, we can't thank you enough. Eric Raddatz, the co-founder of the Fort Myers Film Festival. Thank you very much for joining us.
If you're listening to our voices, go to the Fort Myers Film Festival and go on. What is the website?
Find us at fortmyersfilmfestival.com. And that's all of social medias. You can find us right here in the heart of Fort Myers, May 17th through 21st.
And we'll also put a link up on our website. This way you go to nickandroy.com as well. Eric, thank you again. We'll talk soon. It's nice to meet you, man. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person.
Lots of fun. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Roy.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hey, Eric, thank you.
This way it's easy to find. And also, by the way, if you're wondering why we're smiling, is because both Roy and I are really comfortable wearing our man-made boxer briefs.
I'll talk to you about that, Eric. These are the best underwear I've ever had.
When I come down from Canada, I'll tell the U.S. Border Guard, what am I bringing into the country? I'm going to say the best, most comfortable boxer briefs around, man.
We'll bring Eric a pair. We're going to talk to Berto about getting a pair for Eric. He can wear them.
Yeah.
I'll take a pair.
Eric, thank you again. We'll talk soon. It's nice to meet you, man, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person.
Lots of fun. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Roy.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hey, Eric, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Totally useless information with Nick and Roy is what you're listening to. We thank you very much for listening. 67 countries around the world. We are truly excited and actually humbled by your loyalty. So thank you very much for that. Plus,
it just goes to prove that people have nothing better to do than listen to Nick and Roy. And go to nickandroy.com and go to the Nick and Roy store because we've got the newsletter now. I mean, we're going nuts, folks. We're all over the place. But the newsletter is awesome. It's not like the show.
Nope.
It's like personal stuff, and it's really cool, and it really is great. And also, don't forget the birthday messages, which Nick and I really don't have enough time anymore. But we are doing these birthday messages like crazy, and we try to do each one individually. This is not like one template thing. We do each one individually, and we really make it special for that person. So nickandroy.com.
We're coming up on the 200th episode. We'll have a very special one for that. Plus, we have lots of exciting stuff coming your way if you sign up for the newsletter, okay, it's $19.95 for 12 months. But if you order a birthday message or an anniversary message, we'll give you a complimentary 12 issues for free because you ordered a birthday message, and we'll have some exclusive content coming up. We'll tell you all about that. So we have more stuff here to do, so we'll tell you more. Stay tuned to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy.
Einstein was a moron. Newton was a jerk. E equals nothing. It's science, science, science.
Now, the Pacific Ocean, okay, that's the ocean that's on the west coast of the United States, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it leads into Asia and Japan, right? Okay, the Pacific Ocean.
Yes.
There are 3 C's, like the letter C, not S-E-A, but it's 3 C's in Pacific Ocean. Okay, and those 2 words are 3 C's. Each one of those C's are pronounced differently. The letter C is pronounced 3 different ways in Pacific Ocean.
Oh, one is a ick, and one is a shun, and one is an S.
So a Pacific Ocean. 3 different ways. The letter C is pronounced 3 different ways in the Pacific Ocean.
That is really
Useless.
totally useless.
Well, thank goodness we named the show
I
that.
tell you the truth, Nick, it belongs on the show. I will tell you that.
This one's a keeper for sure.
Yeah, that one, I mean, I wouldn't tell my friend that, but, but thanks a lot for telling it to me.
And the rest of our friends all over the world, you're very welcome, everyone.
Oh, my God. Okay, ready? Here's another whacked out one. 43% of the human body is made up of cells. That makes sense, right?
Yes,
Skin cells, organ cells,
Yep.
bone cells.
Yep.
But that's only 43% of us.
Oh,
The other 57% is made up of bacteria, fungus, and viruses.
oh, lovely.
Okay, so 57% is bacteria, fungus, and viruses. I got a news for Anthony Fauci. I wish I had those masks when we were in high school. I could have worn them as a G-string.
Yes. Some still do.
Could have made some money dancing at the Chippendales,
Yeah, exactly.
Like Eric.
That's right.
He's a
Exactly.
Chippendales.
No,
Yeah,
he really wasn't
yeah.
a Chippendale dancer. I mean, you teased him with that. He's not really a Chippendale dancer, is he?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
He might have been, but I don't know.
Yeah. If not, then guess we'll be watching the Fort Myers Film Festival from the outside fences. Hey, slowpoke moon. One day on the moon is longer than it is on Earth. Our lunar
Day on the moon?
a day on the moon is longer than it is in a day on Earth.
Why?
Well, I'm going to explain it. Hang on, hold your horses. One lunar.
Now you got me interested. You stupid one before, but this one's good.
You know what? There are no letter C's in moon. Although when I pull down my pants, you see a couple of C's. Anyway, one lunar day.
One big O.
One big
O.
And speaking of underwear, we'll tell you all about man-made boxer briefs for men. One lunar day lasts 29 days, 12 hours, and 44 minutes.
Oh, that's even longer than I thought.
This is measured by the time it takes for the moon to make one orbit around the Earth. Like Earth, the moon also spins on its own axis, but its rotation is much slower than ours. So hurry up, moon.
29 days of
12.
our days for one day on the moon.
That's correct.
So 29 days on the moon would mean that for every one day, would mean that we are
5 hours.
180 years old.
Yes. Happy birthday.
Technically.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Oh my God, that's crazy. See, that was a good one, Nick. You got a reprieve.
That's right. I've redeemed myself like a coupon.
Ocean one.
Yeah. Like I said, I've redeemed myself like a coupon.
Yeah. This one's a good one, Nick.
Okay.
What is the most common mineral on Earth? It's found just about everywhere, in every continent, in every place, including oceans and everywhere. It is the most common, and I did not know it. So now, folks, listen in. This will get you smarter.
Wait. Hang on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Grab a pen. You might want to write this one down. We'll wait.
Yes.
We'll wait.
It's called.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a pen.
Yeah.
Feldspar.
What?
Feldspar.
I've heard that.
Feldspar.
I've heard that before. Where did I hear that before? What is that?
I don't know. Feldspar is a group of tectosilicates.
Sure.
And when I first read it, I thought it says a group of testicles, and I was like, "Wow, the balls on them for me not knowing that." But it's not. It's a tectosilicate compound called feldspar, which makes up what we call rock.
Oh,
Rock
that's it.
is not rock. We just name rock. Rock is like a generic term for everything, but rock is basically made up of feldspar, which kind of sucks because it's a good thing we didn't know that, because feldspar and roll doesn't sound really good.
No,
You know,
it doesn't.
I'm going to a feldspar and roll concert, man. You know,
Yeah, Elvis was the king of
Yeah.
feldspar.
right? Feldspar on.
Right.
You know. Yeah, remember when Al Gore was running? What was his wife's name? Tipper.
Yes.
He said Tipper Feldspar. She said Tipper Rock.
Right,
Like
yeah.
she was cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Al
and-
Gore's a douche.
And what's that rattling in your head? It's all the feldspar in your head. Exactly. You know what?
See, Nick, we could use this all day long.
Exactly. What's another
Now,
one?
if we could only replace the word ocean with feldspar.
There's probably a lot of feldspar in the ocean, the Pacific
There is.
Ocean. There
Loads of
isn't.
feldspar.
Yeah, so maybe it's between a feldspar and a hard place.
You know, I just saw, I turned on the TV before, and there was this beautiful Chevy Blazer. And at the end of the commercial, it was like a feldspar.
You
like
must
a rock, baby.
You must be this tall to be a cloud. Now, on the show in the past, we've talked about how we can weigh a cloud. We can approximate the weight of a cloud.
I think we've talked about the weight. I think we've talked about how much water is in a
Right.
cloud.
But
we've talked about clouds.
But we did not talk about how tall. We have not figured out a way. We have not talked about a way to guess the height of the clouds.
Nick, we have definitely not talked about it because Nick can't even get it out.
You have to be this tall in intelligence in order for you to do this show.
Either that or climb up on a few feldspars.
That's right. That'll get you right up there. So, all right. So, again, we've talked about how much a cloud might weigh. Here's how we figure out how to guess the height of a cloud. So, I'm glad you guys still have your pens. You know, get your pens ready.
My next fact is so appropriate for the way that you're saying this one. But go ahead. Keep
Here's the
going.
formula for figuring out how tall a cloud is. You take the current temperature in degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Subtract the dew point. Figure that out.
All right. Wait. Current temperature subtracted by the
The dew point. Do you know what the dew point is right now, where you are in Fort Myers?
Oh yeah, sure, of course I do.
You multiply this
But I
number.
can ask Google, and Google will tell me.
Okay, so you take the temperature in Fahrenheit, and
Right.
you subtract the dew point from that, and
Right.
multiply that number by 220. This calculate
Multiply
by
times 220,
yes, the calculation
and that's how high the cloud.
will give you an approximate height of the clouds in feet. So I'm going to do this live here, okay? So I am in Toronto, Canada, all right? And at this time of this broadcast, the dew point temperature in Toronto. All right, the dew point is 64, okay? 64. What is the temperature right now?
I don't know. By me, it's like 90, but by you, I don't know.
No, but we'll do it by yours. So 90 minus 64
Okay, 90 minus 64.
times 220,
Go ahead.
all right?
Yeah, thank God we can add it.
What was the temperature? 90 minus 64. That gives us
Yeah.
26. All right. So 26 times 220. The cloud is 5,720 feet high.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
Take the temperature, convert it to
And
Fahrenheit.
you know, folks, the best part about this whole exercise
Yes?
is that we can't measure it, any way that we want to. So we got to believe Nick and say he's right. So there you go.
Thanks,
But
Roy.
that makes sense. That makes sense because, when you're on a plane flying at an altitude of, 1,200 feet, and you're in the clouds,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's
yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, I'll wake myself up. Hold on.
I was gonna say, are you awake?
Everybody awake out there? Nick's calculating. I said before that my next factoid was going to be relevant to Nick's presentation today. It takes 6 minutes for the brain to react to alcohol.
No way.
I say scientifically, it takes 6 minutes for the brain to react to alcohol.
So wait a minute. If I
I
take
started drinking when Nick brought up the ocean thing. I'm half in the bag now.
so if you you say 6 minutes and you multiply that by the dew point and divide it by that by 220, you'll figure out.
The normal person, Nick, takes 6 minutes.
6
you
minutes.
maybe about an hour and a half, but 6 minutes.
As we like to say, it takes me 90 minutes to watch 60 minutes.
Yeah, but honestly, so if you take a drink,
Yeah.
in 6 minutes, your brain will react to that shot of alcohol.
So that's why you keep drinking, because after you've had your first shot, you go, well, I don't feel anything. I don't feel the buzz.
Well, we're not normal, Nick, so
No.
we drink like 6 shots in 6 minutes. So
That's
by
right.
the time we finish, we're falling off the bar stool. In like 12 minutes, Nick and I are on the floor.
Listen, I told my doctor when he asked me if I drink, I said I drink now and again. I'll have one now, then again and again and again.
Yeah, well, last night I had a bunch of drinks. I fell off the stool. I was laying on the floor screaming, if he says ocean again, I'll kill him.
It's like a drinking game. How many times can you say Pacific Ocean? You'll be just as drunk as the water in the Pacific Ocean.
All right, so, folks, if you're going to drink, hopefully your house is 3 minutes away because in 6 minutes it's going to affect you. So don't drink and drive.
No.
That I will say. Don't
And
drink and drive.
by no
Don't
means-
drink to excess at all.
No,
I
exactly.
don't want to sound like a prudish person, but don't drink to
No.
excess unless you're in the confines of your own home, naked, watching cartoons.
No. No, all kidding aside, we kid around in the show a lot, but we definitely, if you do think you have a drinking problem, there are many places for you to go check out. And if you know someone in your family or friends, do the right thing and get them help.
Big difference between social drinking and drinking all the time, and that's something that's is close to my heart, Nick, with the drinking thing.
Exactly.
I don't like.
Now, here's
I don't
one
like doing
thing
that.
that's not close to your heart, but close to your boys. It is time to talk about man-made boxer briefs for men. All you have to do is go to nickandroy.com. You click on the icon there. You click on the boxer briefs. You go to the website, and you are going to order yourself probably the best boxer briefs you've ever worn in your life. We personally guarantee it, not because it's written anywhere. We're not doing this by a script. There's no script. We're telling you from
became
experience.
our sponsors.
Yes.
They became our sponsors after we wore their underwear and realized how great they were, and that's the truth. We've been wearing their underwear now for 7-8 months, Nick.
Yes, not the same ones. We wash them every once in a while.
Yeah, I know, but honestly, I have about 6 pair of them now. I've purchased. They sent me 2 pair. I've purchased 4 pair of my own. Look, we could say things on this show and oh, it's the greatest. It's the greatest. They're really that great. You have to try them. Go to nickandroy.com. Click on Man-Made brands. They're made of a special, like almost out of birchwood, right?
Yep, it's a modal fabric with sourced from beech trees. And it's apparently
beech trees. Yeah, beech trees. It's so cool. I did the lawn today. It's 90 degrees out. I don't feel like I'm wearing cotton underwear, which would be full of sweat and uncomfortable.
Well,
they're fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because the modal fabric made from beech trees is 3 times softer than cotton and also ultra breathable. Now, you're in 90-degree weather, as we found out, and the dew point is 36 degrees, and the cloud is 5,000 feet. But your boys are going to be happy because the way that they've designed the boxer brief is absolutely comfortable. You can wear them all day. And here's your chance for you to win a pair for yourself. Go to contest@nickandroy.com. Email us, contest@nickandroy.com.
Can I enter, Nick?
No, you can't. You're not eligible. I was talking to your wife the other day. She told me you're not eligible. So, so contest@nickandroy.com and tell us why you deserve a pair of the Man-Made boxer briefs, the official boxer
tell
brief
us
of
why
Nick.
you think you would want to wear Man-Made brand underwear. And if we like your email, last week we had one that was really great. And I think that once they get the underwear, we're going to then go back to those people and ask them how they like them, because we really want people to tell their own story about this, because we're serious when we say they are the best we've ever. And Nick and I have been around for a while, and so's our junk. It's been jumping around. It's been living out there.
Yeah,
It's
that's
been,
right.
down below there in a very dark, quiet, damp environment.
No, well, that's why I say no more Funky Town for the boys. How do you get your pair? Go to nickandroy.com, click on the Man-Made logo, nickandroy.com, Man-Made brand boxer briefs, the official boxer brief of Nick and Roy. Now, while you're on the website, you can send us an email.
What's in the mailbag? What's in the mail?
Janet from Great Falls, Montana. She writes,
Ooh.
Dear Nick and Roy, we love listening to your show. You guys are hilarious, and now that I'm a subscriber to your newsletter, I feel that I know you better. Oh, you poor thing. Yes. Hopefully, you can help me with my husband.
Well, the newsletter, you have to admit, Nick, the newsletter has more personal stories than we tell on the show, because you can write down things. One article in our newsletter would be 20 minutes on the show. So our newsletter is not some little thing. It's really good, folks. It's excellent.
So Janet wants us to help her with her husband. Every time my husband uses the toilet, I swear he must use a mile of toilet paper. I tell him, she says, I keep telling him to call the Guinness Book of Records, because I'm sure no one uses more toilet paper than he does.
No wonder there's mountains in Montana. There's probably all the toilet paper piled up. You know?
Exactly. Here's my question. Does my husband use more toilet paper than anyone? Okay, well, Janet, first of all, make sure that toilet paper is dispensed from the top, because that's the way it was patented, okay, people? No grabbing from the bottom. You have to have the toilet paper.
Are you a two-ply guy, Nick, or a one-ply guy?
Two-ply.
You're a two-ply guy?
Mm-hmm.
Not me, man. I'm a one-ply guy.
Yeah, that's so we've heard.
Yeah.
The average.
I don't like the two-ply. I feel like I'm, trying to clean with cotton balls. I don't like that. I like a little bit of
Can we help Janet with her problem, please? Let's help Janet.
Yeah, that's all those years I lived in Russia. I like one-ply toilet paper.
You stood in line for 3 days. The average American uses 3 rolls of toilet paper every week.
Three rolls?
3 rolls of toilet paper the average American uses each week. Now,
So 2 people use 6 rolls of toilet paper a week?
That's correct, according to the study. Now,
do you?
Well, if I use 2-ply, I don't use as much.
You better get you better go to like a freaking colonoscopy there. Because there's a lot going on, Nick.
Yeah. According to this is the average American uses 3 rolls. So you use a lot of toilet paper down there because of all the crap you guys got to put up with.
You think the Chinese use egg rolls?
Don't they? They use they use rice paper.
You said that so seriously.
This excessive.
You're a lying bastard.
The excessive toilet paper is affecting our forests. Okay, a report by the Natural Resources Defense Council described a tree-to-toilet pipeline, concluding that the consequences for all kinds of treasured wildlife and global climate are devastating. Yes. Now, here's my advice, okay, from Nick from Nick and Roy. I'm Nick of the Nick and Roy. Maybe you should consider a bidet. A bidet.
The old piper. That's the old garden hose up the poop chute.
Well, here's the thing. The bidet comes from the French word meaning tiny horse.
Tiny horse.
It does.
Like the French are really bizarre.
This is
Where'd
because
they go to Mexico, they saw that donkey show.
No. Yeah, Tijuana and Tijuana. No, the reason why they called it this tiny horse because at least with standard bidets, you use them by straddling them like you would a tiny horse.
Yeah. You ever use bidets, Nick?
Yes, I have. And you know what? At work, we have one of those automated toilets, and if you shift the wrong way, it becomes a very surprising bidet.
It becomes a scary water fountain.
Exactly. So the bidets, Janet and her husband, who uses lots of toilet paper, shame on you, it originated in France at a time when full body bathing was done once a week.
Which was what, yesterday?
It was invented.
France?
What's today? Yeah, that's right. It was yesterday. It was invented to cleanse.
Vive la France!
Vive la-
That's what they say when they turn the old pooper on.
Right. Vive la plume.
Vive la France, and the water shoots out their ears.
It was invented to cleanse the private areas of the body in between regular scheduled baths. In 1750, a bidet syringe appeared. It provided an upward spray through the use of a hand pump fed by a reservoir.
Ah, there you go. That's a nice thing to carry around in a restaurant. I'm sorry. I'm going to go use the restroom. Let me bring my little satchel with my pooper pump.
Pooper pump.
And you come back, you're like, you got your rubber gloves on. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't take those off. I'm sorry, I was just hooking the pipes up and, loading it up with water and giving it a good foot flush.
Wow, this went dark fast.
Yeah,
hey, what's your
where did it go from? Yeah, what's my mailbag?
Yeah.
I'll give you my mailbag.
Yeah.
Margarita
Yes.
from
Margaritaville.
Margarita from Cologne, Panama.
Okay, close.
Okay, so here's the freaky thing. I'm reading this and that catches my attention because I'm going to Cologne, Panama in May.
Oh.
I will be there. I'll be in Cologne, Panama. So, Margarita, tell me some good restaurants. Send us an email back of some good restaurants in Cologne, Panama. I'm going to be there. I'm doing some train thing. I'm going to go see monkeys and things like that. So that should be cool. Toucans and monkeys. Nick and I have toucans, but we have a string attached to it, and that's how we communicate.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, but having said that, she says, I love you show so much.
Mm-hmm.
I love you show so much. It helped me learn English, which is perfect, and it makes us feel good because her English is horrible, and so is ours.
Which is why we're in 67 countries, and some of which don't even speak English, but thank you for listening.
She says, thank you so much. So she's really trying, and I'm so happy. And she, really, honestly, she goes on to say that she listened to over 100 some odd shows, and she continues to listen to them, and she mimics what we say to learn English, which is excellent, which is great. I didn't know. See, our show is useful for something, other than useless. She says, I'm now a VIP newsletter member. She says, thank you and hello from Panama.
Hello.
Well, thank you. And I will be down there, I think, May 5th or something. I'll be in Panama.
Exactly. Right before I make my way down to Fort Myers. Today on the show, we talked about movies, a brand new topic with our friend Eric Raddatz from the Fort Myers Film Festival. Check that out. That's
going to be cool, folks. So keep that in your head. The Fort Myers Film Festival is going to be a blast. And Nick and I are going to be... Nick is coming. They're going to allow him a visa out of the country of Canada.
Right.
Is going to allow him safe passage to Florida.
So we talked about Eric Raddatz, about the above-mentioned film festival. We talked about cars. We talked about science. It's time for the news.
And now, from around the corner and around the world, this is TUI News.
A woman faced court over accusations that she tried to run down her partner down under. It's in North Adelaide in Australia. After an argument.
I was going to say, I thought she was aiming.
No. That's right, yeah. She tried to run him over.
Down under you.
Down under and use the bidet.
Yeah.
Well, this is what happened. So this is after an argument that they had because, her partner claimed that, he took her fry. It started over a chip, a French fry. Charlotte Harrison was claimed that it was an accident, that she was trying to drive to the police station but hit the wrong pedal and accelerated.
That's no accident, Nick. That's no accident. That's revenge. That's French fry revenge.
That's right. So she said that she hit the wrong pedal and accelerated rather than brake. So her partner, Matthew Finn, told the news that their argument had allegedly started when he allegedly, I love how they throw allegedly around, allegedly asked for a chip out of her chicken and chips pack, because she ordered a chicken and chips pack. He says,
Did he think it was strange when she hit the pedal and screamed "Viva la Frate"?
no. He says, I thought she was finished. Yeah. I should have asked her for that chip, so he's admitting it. See, that's one thing.
You already admitted guilt.
Yeah.
You admitted guilt, Nick.
So Finn left the car and was walking when the alleged chase.
So it was fish and chips?
No, it was, hold on, it was chicken and chips.
Oh, chicken and chips.
Yeah, so it's
Finn,
like, yeah.
Finn was eating chicken.
That's right.
Good thing his name wasn't Wings, because then it'd be really confused. But go ahead.
I didn't realize he was Asian. Finn left the car and was walking when the alleged chase at Melbourne Street began. She came straight at me, he told police. But Harrison said in her bail application she had no intention to try to harm him.
No, she was just hungry.
Finn attended court to support Harrison, but left halfway.
So he's still in love with her, even though she ran him over.
Yeah, but then he left halfway through.
So he realized that this was not a one-time offense.
It seems that there's other problems going on because the magistrate, I guess what they call judges, ordered a home detention report, so house arrest. But Harrison will remain.
He ordered her another thing of fries. He should have done.
That's right.
He didn't even have to do it in the court. He could have just done it in the little box with the clown face.
He should have just said, you know what, I sentence you to home house arrest.
Why didn't he just bang the gavel and say, Finn, you need to spend $2.75 and buy her another order of fries?
That's right.
And make it supersized. Bang. Go ahead.
Bang. Done. That's right.
Because, Finn gets run over, and she becomes the people are feeling bad for her.
That's what it sounds like, yeah. Because he had no business putting his grubby paws on her fries, on her chips.
Yeah. If you're gonna try to steal some chick, you better not use your fingers.
Not chip. He didn't try to steal
chip. I know, but she had chicken in that thing too, because we don't know what he got his hands on.
That's right. We're not sure. That wasn't.
His grubby little greasy fingers were muddling around inside of all kinds of stuff. She doesn't know. She should check.
Hey, here's an inventory. This is all the totally. We've run out of totally useless
where's
information.
this? Australia? I'm glad it wasn't Florida. You know.
Well, close enough. If you
you notice, folks, how Nick isn't doing Florida things in the news. You know why? Because he's coming down here and he's scared.
That's right.
He's scared. Yeah. You're scared.
Never mind. I might even become one of these news items. Hey, thank you. Speaking of inventory, we're fresh out of totally useless information for this time, but don't worry. We will scour the internet and other sources, and our staff will as well, to get totally useless information for you next week.
And until then, we ask you to tell everyone you know to listen to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Go to nickandroy.com, click on the Nick and Roy store. Also, click on Manmade Brands, guys. Trust me. And ladies, for your guys, they will thank you.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy.
Thanks for listening.
Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy has been brought to you in part by Manmade, quality essentials for men, boxer briefs, t-shirts, socks, and soap. Manmade, the official boxer brief of Nick and Roy.